These are my thoughts on Volume 4, Episode 12, No Safe Haven, the finale, the final episode of Volume 4. I'm gonna give my thoughts on the volume as a whole, but that's a whole nother video for a different time. So this episode starts with a fight, Team Ranger versus the Grimm. Right, now I refuse to call this Grimm by its name, and I refuse to research it, but I don't know how to feel about its stretchy arms. Mainly because it seems to take away from the purpose and or usefulness that is the horse. A horse is supposed to carry you at speeds faster than that of human legs, but for what seemed like a majority of the fight, the horse just stood there while stretchy arms took care of the fight. So it kind of seemed useless that the horse was even a thing. It just kept getting stabbed over and over again. So that's the Grimm. Ren uses his semblance once more, and I still have no fucking clue what Ren's semblance is. Is it invisibility? What is he doing, and why is he only doing it now, as opposed to the other volumes? That is my only question I have with his semblance. Jean does this thing with his sword that was different. He turned his sword into a sword. Done, nailed it, end of statement, next one. Why? Is this like Jean's heavy attack? Has he just been mashing his light attack and has only now unlocked his heavy? It's still just a sword. He is still just as useless as he would be in the beginning of the volume against that monster. What Jean needs is a gun. If he hasn't noticed yet, everyone's weapon doubles as a gun. He really should hop on that bandwagon. So the fight continues, the power of teamwork prevails, and the monster is killed. I would say that it was anticlimactic, but that would mean I built this Grimm up to be something scary and a threat, which I didn't. To me, it just seemed like a Grimm who killed a bunch of weak people. It wiped out Kuroyuri, a village full of people with what appeared like no one who could defend it against an actual threat. Lee seemed capable of taking out some Beowulfs, but that's about it. He didn't exactly strike me as a skilled huntsman. So this Grimm seemed unopposed its entire life. It was like a tiger in a chicken's pen its entire life. Like Team Ranger killed this thing, and they would have gotten killed by Tyrion. But Crow held his ground against Tyrion, meaning if Crow was all well and good, he could have killed this thing with relative ease. But Ren did it with his papa knife, which, might I say, where the hell has this knife been? I even said, I've never seen him with that knife, but then I gave him an out saying that it were the blades on his guns. But it's not. He actually has the knife, so now I revert back to my earlier opinion. Where the fuck has this knife been this entire time? It's just in his boot. Okay. So now this next part, out of all the already convenient series of events that are happening, this was way too convenient, even for me. The fact that everyone was heading to Mistral, convenient, I didn't really care. But in comes some airships to rescue them. It's good to know that if not for this random encounter, Crow would have died. There wasn't even a sliver of hope for them to save his life, if not for that smoke that these guys saw and decided to check out. And then they fly them all the way to Mistral. Now the moment the music changes, it was damn near perfect to the very end. It seems kind of obvious that Boop is about Ren and Nora, but it's such a perfect song for the two. It was a genuinely sweet moment between those two on that airship. There's not very many sweet moments, I would say, for me throughout the entirety of the series. Blake and Gira, I might classify that, and perhaps one other if I tried to find one. But this 20 to 30 seconds, no dialogue, only music and facial expressions, was perfect. Warmed my heart. Then, Ruby sits down and writes this letter to Yang, and Lindsay Jones fucking killed it. She nailed this scene beat for beat. Her acting level in this was perfect. I can't really say anything about what Ruby was saying. There's nothing really to say about Ruby's letter. Small thing, threw me for a quick loop. Thought Ruby was left-handed. Pretty sure she still is. Probably just ambidextrous. Just raised an eyebrow right there. Weiss still on the escape from home. Blake gonna deal with the White Fang problem. We already knew these things pre this episode. Yang is finally on the move, going after her sister, doing the logical thing, riding her motorcycle. I honestly have no idea why Ranger decided to walk their entire journey when motorcycles are a thing, cars are a thing, air travel is a thing, but they decided to go on foot. It's a decision I have questioned since day one, but they made it there eventually, and Yang is hot on their heels. Now the reason I said this sequence of events was near perfect was because of this next scene. Emerald pops up a RWBY and Cinder quote-unquote kills RWBY. Why was this a scene? It was my assumption that Cinder could have and would have killed RWBY if ever given the opportunity. But this seems like they're training Cinder to kill RWBY, as if Cinder was incapable of doing so. Like something would have stopped her from killing RWBY. So either Cinder for some reason would have struggled to kill RWBY, or she's scared of killing her, like Ren in that Grim. But even still, Ren was capable of fighting, so I have no idea why Cinder needs to prepare herself to kill a begging RWBY. That scene for me is what made it go from perfect to near perfect. We then get a scene with Watts talking to his informant, which is Leo Lionheart, the headmaster of Mistral. Here's the thing, right? If you're an average viewer of RWBY and you watch the show, you don't theorize about it, you simply just watch it. Chances are, you might have been shocked. However, when you do what I do, especially when it comes to theorizing, the informant being Leo wasn't shocking, because the amount of ideas that get thrown at the wall is astronomical. The amount of people who come up with A, B, and C ideas about everything and then spread their ideas everywhere, you're bound to get one right. Unfortunately for me, those kind of plagued my comments. There were people who were spreading that idea, so when the reveal came, it just wasn't shocking for me. I do hope for some of you, however, it was a shocking reveal. It just wasn't for me. Technically speaking, that is the end of the episode and volume. But like many trends, there is an after-credits scene. Oscar shows up to the bar to confront Crow, and to get his cane back, which he does. And judging by Crow's reaction, he's aware of Ozpin's ability to do this mind transfer thing, or whatever. So after-credits scene, done. It was alright. Now, was I worried about anyone dying this episode? I can honestly say, no. Not at all. I never understood people's worry about characters dying this volume. Well, there's that Norse Grim, and Nora is Norse. Clearly Nora's gonna die. Well, that Grim killed Ren's parents. Ren's gonna die. Crow's poisoned. Crow's gonna die. Sun got stabbed. Sun's gonna die. Blake's alive. Blake's gonna die. I never got it, or bothered myself with it. I also take solace in convincing myself. I made a theory some time ago, which you should watch, because I'm not saying that I was right, but I was right. I took comfort in my own video because I'm just that damn good. No, but seriously. Volume 5, Team RWBY's probably gonna get back together, as said in that theory video. Volume 5 seems like it's gonna represent spring, a whole new beginning, happy times all around for the most part. It's gonna be a fresh start. Winter has ended and spring is beginning. I am kind of upset that we didn't get to see Adam this volume, like in actual form. The theme video was a little misleading. But honest to God, I'm happy that this volume has ended, because there's nothing worse for someone who makes theories to make said theories while the show is currently running, because it can change in the snap of a finger. But this episode, I would say, was pretty solid through and through. The fight portion was solid, and the final half was near perfect. I will be uploading a separate video on my thoughts on Volume 4 as a whole, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let me know what you guys thought of the episode in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.